hit the phone.
Yes.
Stop right here in the shade. Let me adjust my feet. It actually happened on September 11th, which is a significant date for Americans, but here is the date that Catalonia lost their independence, and they've been fighting for it ever since. If I was Catalan, I would also be fighting for independence, but I kind of would know that they're never really gonna be granted independence. Well, yeah, sort of. They use it as like a concert hall, or an event space. Yeah, we passed one on the way to Sagrada Familia. I'll point it out where you'll probably be able to recognize it. But that is one of the ones that's still standing that they haven't made any changes to. Bullfighting here has been illegal since 2011, but it's still practiced throughout Spain. And the other bullfighting ring is in Plaza España. Maybe you'll go there later on throughout your travels. That one, that bull ring is called Monumental. It's called Arenas de Barcelona. And they made that one into a mall with a movie theater. But you can walk along the perimeter, which is like a dome, so it's a big circle. And there's restaurants and bars and things up there. And you can have like a 360 view of Barcelona. Another tradition, though, in its place, that's more so Catalan than Spanish, is going to be, what is it called? It's called Torre something. It's when, maybe you've heard of it or seen it, where they build human towers and people climb on each other's backs and they go really, really high. And it's usually about as tall as these buildings, and the person on the very top is typically like a small child. It's like a race that they do. It's a really popular tradition here. And they just climb on each other. They make like a really big circle, the strongest men on the bottom, and it just goes to a point with the tallest and smallest. The tallest tower with the smallest person on the top. Yeah. And then we'll pass some other traditions that I'll speak of as well. That's like in the past, throughout history, like the rulers thought that they were actually quite silly and they didn't like Catalan tradition, which has led to many of other things. Like, as we know, Spain has had two dictators, the most recent one being Franco. He actually only died 50 years ago. And then the one before him was this gentleman named Primo de Rivera. But they both didn't like Catalan culture, they didn't like the language, and they didn't allow them to speak their native tongue. But you're in Catalonia, so it's like, how dare you? What else? So you already got the flags. Did you know that one, the Spanish flag and the Catalan flag?
I just noticed the Catalan flag. I didn't know. It's a flag.
Yeah, so the Catalan flag is the one with the 4 red stripes and the 5 yellow stripes. I'll tell you a story about how the flag got its colors. and other stops. But aside from that, Barcelona is extremely old, much like other European cities. It dates back to the 1st century BC when the Romans came here and they defeated Hannibal in the Second Punic War. Hannibal was like a well-known militant individual at the time, but he was defeated because the Romans were superior, if you will, at the time. And when they did that, they took over an Iberian town that was here. Around that time, it was something called like the Iberian Peninsula or something. But that town was called Barquino, which is spelled Barkeno. And later on, it transitioned into the ancient name Barcino, which is Barcino. And now we have Barcelona, which I think is interesting because typically names of places get shorter, and this one got longer. But it still makes sense because the first few letters, like 5 letters of Barcelona, is Barca, and Barca means boat.
Oh.
So it makes sense. Aside from that, it's hard to see, but the first flag on the left is actually going to be the flag of Barcelona.
Oh.
I don't know why it looks so faded right now, but I guess it's because of the sun shining on it. It's basically a combination of the Catalan flag and the flag of England.
Then EU is that EU?
Yeah, that one's the EU, exactly. So the reason why the flag of England is incorporated with the Barcelona flag is because of this gentleman right here. What's his name? Saint Jordi. He's in the statue on the horse with a sword in his hand and a dragon beneath his feet. He was known as a dragon slayer. And the myth is there was a dragon that arrived in the town and terrorizing the people, and the princess at the time wanted to save the people. But then here comes Saint Jordi on his horse, and he tells the princess, I can take care of this dragon for you, but first everyone will have to convert to Christianity. So she says, okay. I have to sneeze, sorry. It'll come out when I least expect it. She says, okay, everyone converts. He slays the dragon dies and bleeds, and his blood turns into roses. So on St. Jordi Day, which actually recently passed, it's on April 23rd, it's like the equivalent of Valentine's Day here. The men will gift women roses, and the women will gift men books. It's a tradition that's been happening for hundreds of years. It's also because it falls on Book Fair Day. I think it's like the death date of William Shakespeare, which is part of the reason why. But it's a really popular day, like throughout Spain, not just here in Barcelona. And actually, the house that you went to the Casa Vila, I think that was one of them that was decorated with roses on. This is the backside of the cathedral. Here to go. This is the official cathedral of Barcelona. It's called La Catedral de la Santa Creu de Santa Eulalia. Santa Creu means Holy Cross, and Santa Eulalia is another major patron saint that's widely celebrated throughout Spain, aside from Saint Jordi, there's others. But Eulalia is one of them. She was a martyr during her time, born shortly after Jesus Christ, so that was around like 290 BC. And she was basically tortured for believing in Christianity. During that time, you were not allowed to believe what you wanted. You were told what to believe, and if you went against it, then of course you would be punished, and that's what happened to her. She was tortured 13 times with the intent to kill, but she didn't pass away until the 13th torture. And they buried her body in another location, but when they decided to make what used to be a chapel into a cathedral, they named it after her. They moved her body in the inside, so she's still laid to rest in the inside instead of a cloister, which is like an indoor garden. But don't think like flowers and grass. It's more like a cemented off space. Her body's raised on a pillar, and there's 13 white geese on the ground to represent her 13 tortures. Because this is the official cathedral of Barcelona, it does still hold mass every weekend, but it's also a museum, so you can only go inside if you have tickets or if you come to mass. Aside from that, again, like I said, it used to be a small chapel. There aren't any remains from when it was. But the oldest portion of the church is this darker portion of stone that you see, which is a Gothic style of architecture. We're also in the oldest neighborhood of Barcelona, which is called the Gothic Quarter. But the Gothic style of architecture is depicted by the flat rooftops and the spikes. It wasn't decided, if you will, to be made into a cathedral until the late 16th, early 17th century. So it's literally a church that's been built over centuries by the people who lived in the area. At the time, they were called or referred to as guilds. They were more like the tradesmen. But on the front side of the church, you can definitely tell it took some expertise, some professionalism, and some skill to be able to construct it. Because it's really like detail oriented. It's very like ornamental. And it's like a rhyme and a reason to everything on the front side. I don't know every rhyme and reason, but I know that there is one. But my favorite part of the back side of the church are going to be the animals. No, más, boludo. Yo pasaron por aquí.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, quick photo. Oh, thank you. I'm good. Yeah.
So here we come to Catalan tradition. One of these. The uncle. And basically it started back in the nativity scene. It was always seen as an artifact of good luck. But the story is that there was this farmer hundreds of years ago who wanted to bring forth good luck, prosperity, and good fortune for the year to come for his family and for his community. So he decided to use a bathroom in his backyard. He had a bathroom, but he used it in the backyard to fertilize the crops. And from there, that figurine was birthed and it grew into something bigger. So now you can get your favorite animated character, your favorite famous person, or your favorite thing, and they're all popping the squat, taking a poop. It is not meant to be anything rude. It is definitely meant to be a good luck charm. And even during the Christmas market, which is held in the plaza that we just left every year, they sell these artifacts. This isn't the only store like this around in the city. There's other stores located at the city center that sell these as well. And then the other thing is the log that you see with the face on it. That's kind of like representative of Santa Claus for the Catalan kids. They still have the Christmas tree, but they also put the log out. And it was basically said that this log would poop out these really big grand gestures and expensive gifts. So they basically like beat the log with a stick while singing a Catalan song. I don't know it in Catalan, but it's basically saying like, give me presents, if you don't give me presents, I'm gonna keep beating you. And even in the song they say, we don't want Toron. and turon is like a typical Catalan dessert that's served in the holiday season. There's actually stores that sell turon. It's like a rectangle-shaped sweet treat, and it can come with a specific type of nut. And it's either covered in white chocolate, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, truffle, the different flavors and things like that. So even in the summer, they're like, we don't want turon, give us gifts. And it's funny because typically kids like sweets and treats and chocolates, but the Catalan kids are like, no, we want the big gifts. So it's a huge part of their tradition. As you can see, they come in different sizes. Some are small, medium, large. Some are in stuffed animals. These are also sold in the Christmas market every year as well. But yeah. The caganeers. And then turn your attention to this building over here in front of us. This is the Palau de la Música Catalana, the musical palace of Catalonia. This is where the bourgeoisie or the elite would come to enjoy nice cocktails, orchestras, music, and chit-chat with their friends. It was completed back in 1909, and it was constructed by a gentleman named Louis Dominic y Montaner. He was the godfather of modernism, which is bringing art and nature back into architecture. And Gaudi is the one that made modernism famous because this gentleman was his mentor. So he learned everything that he knew from him, which is why sometimes people look at this building and ask, oh, did Gaudi do this? And I'm like, no, but I understand why you would say that. So this gentleman, Luis Dominici Montaner, he was known for using a lot of red brick and a lot of glass. Like that was his staple. So the entire building is covered in red brick. And the glass, there's glass balconies, like the balconies are lined in glass. Also in the inside, the stair rail is also lined in the balcony. On the front side is tons and tons and tons of mosaic tiles. And as you know, mosaic tiles are really small, but they're strategically placed to mimic nature and flowers and things of that nature. And you'll see carved out stone carved into flowers. You'll also see 3 composers' heads, Puccini, Bach, and Beethoven, and I believe on the other side it's Mozart. At the very top you'll see a huge mosaic image of people dancing and also a choir singing, as well as indications of the Catalan flag at the very top. And even below the first balcony there's a diamond with 5 yellow stripes, also representative of the Catalan flag. And on either side it says Orfeo Català, which means Catalan opera. Franco also used to frequent here. And like I was saying earlier, he didn't want anyone speaking Catalan here. They just didn't like it. Of course, people are going to fight for what they believe in, fight to speak or sing in their native tongue. So there were people who went against it. And I was told, I don't know the validity of it, but I'm sure it happened, that of course he punished those people, but he also decided to punish the Catalan people by covering up this building. People often ask me with what, and I just assumed some sort of tarp where you couldn't see any of its beauty, and it remained covered until Franco passed away, which again was only 50 years ago. So I'm really uncertain how long it was covered for, but I did recently learn that they also used this building during like the Nazi era. They would hold events and things here for them, and they used to have like Nazi flags hanging from it. So I'm pretty sure Catalan.
Ring a ding.
Oh wow. It's Arc de Triomphe. Typically, arches represent a victory in war, but not this one. It was solely built as a grand entrance for the 1888 World Fair. And there was an architect who got word of he got word of the fair, and so he submitted a design to be built here. The Catalan people voted it out because they said it would not have matched any of the other buildings that were around at the time. So he took his design to another country where he was able to build it for their 1889 World Fair, and it is still standing to this day. What's the country and what's the structure?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry.
What's the question again?
There was a gentleman who wanted to build his design here instead of the arc. He submitted his design, but the Catalan people voted it out. So he took his design to another country where he was able to build it for their 1889 World Fair. It's still standing to this day.
France.
Yes. What's the structure? It's tall. It's in France.
It's a big
Yep, the Eiffel Tower. Can you imagine the Eiffel Tower being right here? Yeah. His name was Gustave Eiffel. He wanted to place the Eiffel Tower here. He wasn't able. So he took it to France. They were actually supposed to dismantle it, but they saw how much money it was going in. When he was invited back here in 18 years, he was commissioned to do a lead coast. My AC going down. I feel like those are like an increase to the cost because it's like now. I feel like it's an inverted version of the Eiffel Tower, but it's really
What's this place? It's like a park or something?
it's just a passage.
Oh, okay.
Place that people walk through. Sometimes there are events here, but it's not necessarily a park.
Oh, I see.
Sometimes it can also be like a meetup point for people or for events before like going off to the next thing. If it's like something that's on wheels or people running. Sometimes I do see groups of people having like a silent workout session with headphones.
Nice.
Yeah. Music and stuff.
Okay. They're just running.
1 second. So imagine, so the 1888 World Fair is a really big deal because, as I was saying earlier in the tour, the Catalans have never been good at fighting. They've always been defeated or sided with the side that lost. So imagine the morale of the people were really low, the turmoil in the air. The 1888 World Fair was a time for, like, a moment in time for them to look forward to say, hey, we're skilled, we're talented, we can help build up your country, and you can help build up ours. So imagine this entire passage right here full of
What is this? Oh. Wow.
It isn't on this morning. It was on yesterday morning. This is the fountain. So we're in Park de la Estrella in Spanish, and in Catalan it's called Park Ciutadella. And the word for the term Ciutadella is Estrella. one S or two?
Just one.
One?
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks weird. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Wow.
Side, it represents Jesus Christ's death. And on the back hand side from where we're standing, it's the glory facade, and it represents Jesus Christ's ascension. Gaudi only lived to see 70% of the first facade complete. So basically the two towers, the darker portion of the towers, and everything that comes at a downward angle. That's all Gaudi ever saw. The church started being built in 1882, and during that time there was absolutely nothing around. All this was dirt.
Yeah.
All of it. So of course they built on the land to utilize the space. The businesses and residences that moved in, they were also told they would have to move out at some point. Not everyone. But the reason being is because Gaudi also wanted to have a park on either side of the church. So there's a park on this side, there's a park on that side, there's benches and flowers and bushes and little ponds for you to be able to admire Sagrada Familia.
Yeah.
But the other two sides, as you can see, they're still occupied.
Yeah.
I have recently heard they are going to move forward with tearing a portion of this block down, and they're going to relocate those individuals. The reason being is because Gaudi also wanted to have a stairway into heaven. Heaven meaning the church. And this stairway will lead to the main entrance of the church, which is on the second floor. It's not on the ground floor. So essentially the cars will be going through an underpass. And the two front doors, they're really, really big. They're huge. They're green. It has a common Bible verse in the front depicted in 50 different languages. And the central language, which is protruding from the door, is going to be in Catalan. That's because Gaudi was a Catalan man. Also, he intentionally constructed Sagrada Familia to be 1 meter shorter than the mountain Montjuic because he did not want to surpass God's creation. And we have 12 towers for the apostles. Those are the ones that I refer to as like cake toppers because they look like icing with sprinkles on it and stuff. Then you have 4 towers for the evangelists, which are the ones with the white angel wings. You have 1 tower for the Virgin Mary, which is a star kind of protruding out on the left right here. And then you have this central tower for Jesus himself. He also has the winter and summer fruits depicted on the side of the church right here. It's symmetrical on the other side. And all of the windows are made of stained glass. So there's going to be yellows, reds, and oranges to resemble the sun, and blues, greens, and turquoises to resemble the sea. So basically represent, not resemble. At any point throughout the day, when you're inside the church, you'll see like a kaleidoscope of colors dancing around. And the inside is also meant to resemble a forest with extremely high ceilings and archways. And the Pope came here in 2010 and blessed the church in a consecration ceremony. So it is seen as a minor basilica. As well as it's never been funded by the locals. It's only been funded through ticket prices and donations. And it does hold mass as well. You just have to get here really, really early, like 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
See the light too.
Oh, so pretty.
It comes through the window on the side.
Yes. He has a picture of the inside. So nice.
Oh, well, yeah.
And all of the windows have, what are they called? Oh, she's so cute. Sorry, I'm looking at the older woman on her balcony. All of the stained glass windows have the names of saints from around the world.
Have you been? If you can't go inside.
Oh, well, I've been there yesterday, but it's, unfortunately it's raining.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where are you going?
Down to the beach.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Пойдем, Серик, сразу.
Yeah, finally.
And I didn't mention that on this side, the imagery kind of falls short, or it's very different from the other side, of course. It's very much like cubist and just silhouettes of people with little to no facial expressions, and it's a lot of straight lines. Versus on the other side, the Nativity facade is the side that Gaudi had more of a say-so in. The imagery has much more emotion and facial expression.
Much more intricate.
Yeah, much more intricate, exactly. The architectural style has changed, of course, over 130 years too. So.
What was the reason why is it taking it so long to build this church?
Funding, as well as just things that have transpired throughout history. Like, for example, COVID or like fascism and things of that sort. Probably the sourcing of materials, gathering and getting architects to come on and agreeing to things, multiple things. And again, the funding has always been from ticket prices and donations, so when things did happen throughout history, it wasn't open.
Okay.
Multiple things, I guess.
It's going to complete in 2035 or 36.
It's going to update, you said?
No, complete.
Oh yeah, fully complete, yes. With like all the additions and things, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the target date, 2035?
Yeah, for everything.
For everything.
But for the church itself, the end of this year. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, they're probably relocating those people, you know.
Oh yeah, I know.
They're
I'm actually
very-
surprised they're moving forward with it, to be honest. But yeah, they apparently already have it mapped out of where they're gonna relocate them to. The problem in Barcelona is they don't build up; they only build out. So when you're planning on tearing down buildings, it's like, where are you gonna put all these people? The rule of thumb or the law is you can only build up to 3 floors high. But the Spanish have like a loophole that they go through. So the first floor in most buildings don't have a name. The second floor is principal, so that's already 2 floors. And then the third floor is primero, segundo, tercero. So essentially it's 5, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's always going to be 5 floors. And any building that you see is taller than that, it came about during a time where it was okay to build that high, and they quickly realized we don't want to ruin the viewpoint.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I'm kind of surprised that there's a building nearby. So that
yeah. I mean, modern day and age, it just catches up to old times. But yeah.
And the crosses dropped last month, right?
Yeah.
The big cross.
Yeah, they just placed that about a month ago.
Why didn't the government or something, like they didn't think of like this, like people should like not be
I
living.
think they just wanted to utilize the space. There's people coming and they need housing and money, and like
The
I said,
realtors needed money.
yeah.
I
I
mean-
said, it's been over 130 years since the church started, so I don't know. I guess it sufficed during the time, but now they have to like.
Okay,
retreat
because
back.
like it's kind of hard. Like if it's already built, why destroy it? Like people will protest for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Because we've been here for long, then you're gonna relocate us.
But they also knew prior to moving in that they would probably have to leave. That's the thing. They
okay.
knew.
Is there like is the government gonna pay them or something?
Yeah, they're
Or-
gonna relocate them.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
housing.
Yeah, for
Okay,
housing,
okay.
they'll relocate them.
And Pope is coming next month, right?
Yes, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think I've heard. Yeah. He's
For
coming.
what reason?
For the cross.
Because
The inauguration, big inauguration.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
Oh yeah, he's American, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Now we gotta head all the way down to the beach.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Ah, wow. Wow. Nice. Beautiful.
Igual se ha perdido.
So this is the beach of Barcelona, at least one of them. This is the main beach. It is a man-made beach. It is a hotel well known for its art exhibitions. It's called either Arts Hotel Barcelona or Hotel Arts Barcelona, one of the two. And then they also built all of these terracotta rooftop buildings over here for the athletes to stay in. Now they're just like flats or apartments, if you will, but they're really big and spacious on the inside. On the other side of this boat park, there is another beach called Bogotá, which is also really nice. But this is the first beach that everyone comes to because it's the nearest to the port and the nearest from the airport.
Oh, okay.
That is the mountain Montjuic that I've referenced earlier in the tour. It means mountain of the Jews. And that's because back in I think it was 1413, the Jews occupied that mountain. They had Jewish villages up there as well as cemeteries. But when the Spanish kicked them out, they dug everything up. So it's no longer present. But it is an active mountain. Active meaning there's a lot of activity that happens up there. It's not like just a mountain that nobody goes on. People frequent up there all the time. There's a bunch of terraces, museums. There's the Olympic pool, the Olympic arena, the castle, which is actually a fortress, some other historical buildings from the 1929 International Expo. There's a hotel, a bunch. Like people work out up there. It's parks up there, but it's a mountain. But it's plenty of spaces for people to lounge. They take their dogs. Some people live towards the bottom of it. No one lives on the mountain per se, on the top or anything, or around it, but towards the base, there are neighborhoods. Yeah, the W? The west end. Looks like about to Dubai, right? Yeah. And the kids out there, they're waiting to go inside of the port where all of the imports and exports are. That's also where the cruise department is. There's one, the small one back there. Yeah. And then That's where they host the America's Cup, which is like a sailboat competition. This one was actually the first one that was ever around. It was built back in the 1600s, but now it holds all the yachts, the big beautiful yachts. Probably 40 days. We're gonna be biking around the restaurant. There's an aquarium behind here as well.
Tuvalet.